I didn't know anything about like technicals, how to read a chart, the moving averages. There's so many more people who are going to have that exact same story that I had, and then it's just done. It's like you just got to take that L and live with it. Remembering that life is to be lived,
Exactly.
balance in all things. That's what I've been working on. And to anybody who joins Discord or starts trading, that's what you're going to see a lot of people doing some awesome things.
Mhm.
Remember that these awesome things that we do are so that we can do even more awesome things in the real world.
Good morning, welcome to the Fit to Flourish podcast. Let's talk wellness, finance, and growth.
Alrighty, what's up, guys, and welcome to the Fit to Flourish podcast. This is the Elite Traders interview series, and today I get to introduce a special guest. So he's someone who has been one of the most consistent and dedicated traders in our community for almost over a year now. He's shown up to every live session, put in the work, and steadily sharpened his craft. That discipline paid off in a big way. So he's learned to capture massive winning trades and even used what he's gained from trading to purchase a property, and which is such an incredible milestone. And here is the kicker. He's done all this under the age of 21, but he just turned 21 this week, September 10th, so happy birthday. Um, that alone makes his story even more inspiring. So on top of that, his online name always cracks me up. DarfWorm. So as a fellow Star Wars fan, I love it. I love it, man. And maybe it's just fitting because my name's Luke, and people never miss a chance to remind me about that connection. But he's a trader who's proof that showing up consistently and being patient with the process really works. So everyone, please welcome DarfWorm. Woo-hoo.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
You make me
sir.
sound so much cooler than I am.
No, bro. No, that is who you are. You're him. You're him. So,
Aw, appreciate it.
yes, sir.
Learn from the best.
Hey, yes, sir. So, the first question here: can you start by pretty much sharing a little bit about your background and what first got you into trading?
Yeah. So I'd say I'm the oldest of 6 kids.
Mm.
Right. So first and foremost, I'm a big brother. Um, then after that, I'm an athlete. I'm a coach. Um, I've been working in security for the past 2 years of my life. I'm currently in the process of trying to transition from private security to federal law enforcement.
Nice.
Um, I'm somebody who has always been taught that people who are good, people who do the work, they succeed. And
Mhm.
so I've always been very success oriented, trying to make my way in the world. And so part of that was when I graduated from high school and I started working, I started becoming a professional. Um, I started thinking about like, how can I get my money right? Right. I don't want to be one of those guys who it's like, I had all my like friends from high school and it's like, all right, we graduated high school. And so now we're just going to work whatever kind of job and we're just going to be spending all of our money on partying and all like that. That wasn't for me. I was thinking to myself like, all right, money is a tool. Right? How can I use this to propel myself towards the success that I've been taught I need to go out and get?
Mm.
So yeah, I started trading by just I read Dave Ramsey's book. I've
Mm.
actually got it in one of my boxes out there. I've got all my boxes full of books and clothes and whatever. But anyways, the Total Money Makeover, and I was talking about how like if you don't have debt, I've always been really good at not having debt. Then you need to start investing, building towards the future.
Yeah.
And so Dave Ramsey recommends like putting it into like a 401k. This is where I differed a little bit. Uh, I like things a little bit faster.
Yeah.
So like having a little nest egg that I can get when I'm 65, like I'm sure that's good. And I do have a traditional IRA, but I was like I also want to see like some progress like right now,
Right.
kind of thing. So I started doing my research on like what stocks to buy, and then by doing that, Big Brother on the algorithm got me, and I started getting like options trading videos, and before I knew it, I had what's up, guys? It's Mr. Fit to Flourish, and let's talk about what's going to happen in the stock market tomorrow. And
Yes,
I
sir.
took a couple of your plays, and I was like, wait a minute, this guy knows what he's talking about. So I followed your TikTok, and I actually worked nighttime security, which was awesome because of our time difference. You would post your videos like right when I got to work. So I got to
Mm,
work, and the first thing I do was like, all right, look, I can spend my entire night planning for what's going to happen tomorrow morning. And so
mm.
part of that was what Fit say is going to happen in the market tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. I like how you said Big Brother too. Yo,
Yeah, they did, man. Like
yo,
I'm
for
sitting here.
real.
I downloaded the Robinhood app before I know it. My TikTok for you page went from sports highlights and like anime edits to like, hey, here's what's gonna happen in the stock market tomorrow. Like they
Yeah.
know, man.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I was just talking to someone at work about that. Like we were talking and we were talking about like chips or something. And like my for you pages and my sub like nothing ever comes up with chips and stuff. I'm always like, oh, fit to flourish, fit, right? And
Yep.
then all of a sudden I get these ads for Doritos. I was like, yo, what is going on? Oh man,
Trying to
that's
get you.
yeah. All right. So next question would be, well, what challenges were you facing like before joining the group, or was it really like at the beginning of your journey, or what challenges were you facing?
No, there was definitely some challenges. So, um, obviously I get into stocks, and right off the bat, again, because this was a brand new area for me. I did start off like the safe way, right? I read the books, read all the knowledge, and the common knowledge is just like, hey, be safe. Like you're not gonna beat the market. Just like dollar cost averaging into like high quality stocks, index funds, stuff like that. That's what you should do. And so that's what I was doing. And then around March 2024, yeah, March 2024, Roaring Kitty comes back, and the GameStop thing was happening, and I didn't buy into that for the longest time, and it was like I'd be at the gym, right? I go to 24-hour fitness, and like the cardio section, they got all their TVs up there, right? And so I'm seeing like all the TVs, and at least at my gym, they'll play like the CNBC like stock trader stuff, and I'm
Yeah.
seeing like everybody talking about like, oh, GameStop continues to shoot up. GameStop continues to shoot up. And I have a couple of YouTube channels that I was subscribed to, and they were talking about it, like just what's happening in the stock market. GameStop is continuing to shoot up, and for like the 3 weeks that it was ripping, right? I was like, I'm not I'm gonna stay safe. I'm not gonna buy into that. But then after 3 weeks, I was like, oh my goodness, it's like quadrupled. I'm seeing like on Reddit, like all the Reddits I'm in, like people are talking about like I just made this much money off of like buying into GameStop, like this much, this much. The top was in, and I was the exit liquidity. I can't lie. I after 3 weeks of seeing that, I was like, well, hell, everybody else is making money, so like I can put in a paycheck. I put in a paycheck, right, and it was right before he was supposed to have like his big live stream on YouTube, right, and so like everybody was talking about like how he's gonna like rip it like he did last time, and so I was like, I bought hook, line, and sinker the entire thing. And then I remember watching that live stream and watching as he had like Roaring Kitty had the stock ticker up, and just every single word that came out of his mouth, it would drop like another dollar. And I was just watching my Robinhood account like go to zero, and I was like, oh my goodness, man, I can't. I knew this was gonna happen, and then I still did it. I was so mad with myself. And
Yeah.
so I was like, okay, that's fine, that's fine. That was just like that's just one paycheck. I still got like my quality stocks that I had, but I'm also like I said, that sports background. I don't like to lose, so I was like, I need my money back from Wall Street. I'm not gonna lie, like they got me, and I'm not happy with that. So then I was like, okay, what can I do? What can I do? And so as I was doing my research, I found out about options trading, and so like this was like I did a lot of research. I was learning about like the Greeks. I was learning about like calls versus puts. Like I was learning everything. And then so I was like, once I got to a point where it's like I kind of understood what options were kind of about, everybody that I was reading from, seeing videos about, they were like, listen, at the end of the day, you can read about it, but you got to dip your toes in the pool before you can swim. So
Yep.
I was like, all right. Um, and again, this just shows my inexperience as a trader. My first options trade I ever took was that I had seen a video that was talking about how a lot of options on earnings week will have high implied volatility, which means that they're yeah, which means that they're gonna make drastic moves. And so, uh, Disney was having an earnings report on Tuesday, I think it was. Uh, I was thinking to myself, I was like, all right, did some research. It's like there was these news articles where it was like the Disney before the earnings parks went up. It was like the Disney parks. They've been having good attendance. They had just had, I think, a Marvel movie that came out that had done pretty well. So in my head, I was thinking like macroeconomics. Like surely this earnings report is going to be good,
Mhm.
and it was. But again, because I was an inexperienced trader, I didn't realize the numbers don't mean anything. All anybody cares about is forward guidance, and the
Yep.
forward guidance was not there. So I
Yeah.
took that play, and boom, that crashed too. And so now, before I knew it, I felt like I was doing really well, and then now in the span of like a month, I'm now 5K in the hole,
Mhm.
and I was like, yikes. And again, I really don't like to lose, but like you're not supposed to chase your losses. So now we got into this point where it was like Nvidia started ripping, and then I was like, listen, I learned my lesson with GameStop, right? I'm not gonna wait and see like, oh shit, I'm just gonna like full send, put all my chips in. So I sold all my good stocks, all of them, and I was like, I'm gonna put all of the money that I had allocated to investing, it's going into Nvidia. And as Nvidia kept ripping and ripping and ripping, I was like, I was just watching my money multiply, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is what I've been waiting for. I was
Mhm.
seeing these big unsustainable numbers, and I was going like, yes, yes, this is what I was signing up for.
Yeah.
And then of course like that type of growth is unsustainable. So I mean I had just kept buying like calls and then rolling it into calls for further out expo dates and the money kept stacking up. And then again, I didn't take profits. I just kept all in, all in, all in,
Mm.
right? And then so I think it was around July. But anyways, it had gone from they had the stock split, but after the stock split, it had basically gone from like $90 per share to it peaked at just under 140,
Yeah.
and then it crashed like right back down to 120. And so like I had caught it at like 110. So from
Mhm.
110 to 140, I was just rolling in it. And then like because I just like I didn't know what I was doing. Um, Obviously when everybody was like, "All right, I'm gonna take my profits here," I didn't even know what taking profits was. So
Mhm.
again, once again, everybody's taking profits. I'm exit liquidity, and now before I know it, all my savings over the last year that I had just put into my Robinhood account gone. And that
Mm.
was that was like at that point like there was nothing more to put in. And
Mhm.
so like when I found the group, I was like in the hole my entire savings. I still had my job, so I was able to build my savings back up. But I was like, all right, so maybe putting every single dollar and penny that I have and just going all in all the time isn't the right move. All
Mhm.
right, I learned a couple of things. I was making money at a point. I knew how to lose money and I knew how to make money. I felt like now I just needed to find somebody who could help me get rid of the. We don't need to know how to lose money. We just want to know how to make money around here.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
agree.
when I found the group. I found the TikToks because I was just like I was looking for like I need safe plays now, safe
Mhm.
plays.
Is there? Is there? And how did going through like a lot of our like our live classes and those sessions we had um, impact the way you look at the markets? And was there a specific aha moment when things really started to get better and click for you?
Um, yeah. So again, to this point, completely inexperienced trader. I was going just completely off of like buy buying and selling news
Mhm.
basically. Where it was like if I heard that a stock was doing well, it's gonna try and buy calls on it. If I heard that a stock was about to do bad, try and buy puts. And it was just like news isn't everything. I didn't know anything about like technicals, how to read a chart, the moving averages, like reversion to the mean, all of that. I had had zero experience with that. I had had like again my friends that I talked about. They were really into like cryptocurrency,
Mhm.
and so they had talked a little bit about technicals, but I had never considered what I was doing as like day trading, even though it was. I was like, oh, options trading and day trading are different, right? Like I'm buying an option that is expiring in like a week, right? Like that's a week. That's week trading. That's not a day trade.
Right.
But no, learning how to actually read charts, like what technicals mean, technical indicators, like that definitely was a huge improvement, like for my trading career, and that's something that I really appreciated learning. And then as for like mindset wise, I think learning that like guaranteed plays. I'm definitely like, I'm a little bit of a gambler. I like to say that I'm a lucky guy.
Mhm.
Because I mean, again, even with like this whole like origin story, if you want to call it, the
Mhm.
fact that I was able to find like a great mentor who was willing to raise me up from the depths, like not everybody has that. There's so many more people who are gonna have that exact same story that I had, and then it's just done. It's like you just got to take that L and live with it, and
Right.
right, and it's like I'm very blessed to know that that was not the case for me, because
Mhm.
I was lucky enough to find somebody. But yeah, no, mindset wise, learning that like, hey, like we don't need to trade every day. Like that's one thing, right? Like
Mhm.
let's look for guaranteed plays. The other thing too was that like um actually I talked about it in the Discord one time, but I started combining like sports psychology with my trading psychology. Um, I coached soccer, and I was a better soccer player than I ever was a football player. But I was using the football mentality, which was like what we're looking for is we're looking for short chunk plays.
Mhm.
And then what we're trying to do is like if we want to think that like Wall Street is the defense, what we're trying to do is we're trying to wait until they give us the opportunity for a big long shot. And then that is when we can like full port and go crazy. And we've had a couple of those in the Discord. But
Mhm.
it's like it's really like those are awesome, and that's like your big highlight reel moments, and you go like, yes, this is what I trade for. But
Right.
it's those chunk plays that build your career. It's those chunk plays you can't. It's I mean, and it's addicting, but you can't
Right.
get addicted to those big plays because they don't happen all the time. And if you start chasing them, that's when
Mhm.
you start throwing interceptions, so
There
to
you go.
speak.
Yo,
So no,
that
so
analogy
it's
is fire.
so it's that whole idea of like we had the $500 account challenge that was really good.
Mhm.
What I took from that is something that was really I limited myself to 20% a day, no matter what. I had to learn to live because there was a lot of moments where it was like I would, as soon as it gets to 20% profit, I sell. And then I would see it would keep climbing. And I didn't like, you don't like that feeling of knowing like, oh, I sold too soon,
Mhm.
right? But it's that feeling that leads you to like the greed factor where it's like, oh, well, that last time I sold and it kept going. So like I need to like hold out a little bit longer. No, it's like you really need to like you need to learn to be content with like, hey, 20% is double what like the yearly average is for the S&P. So it's
Right.
like if you make 20% in a day, you've already doubled a lot of people's like yearly portfolio. And
Mhm.
so it's really learning to like put things in a perspective. Like that was definitely my biggest thing mentality wise. It's those small chunk plays that are gonna get you to the Super Bowl using my football analogy.
Yeah, hey, fire. And yeah, and like Mark Douglas says in his book about like trading psychology, he talks about how every moment in the market is unique. So you can't expect just because yesterday GameStop went to a million, today it might not, or just because Nvidia was doing well last week in the same type of a setup doesn't mean this setup's going to go today. And then accepting the risk of the trade, you understand like, all right, when we hit this level, that's a really good trade. You got to pay yourself as the market makes money available to you. So a lot of that, I mean, a lot of all psychology is the same. You just apply it to different fields essentially. So I really like that football analogy was absolutely fire. Um, and then let's see. So the last question that I kind of wanted to talk about was like, all right, so trading can be tough mentally, and I know you're competitive. So how has your mindset evolved since you began this journey, and has the group helped impact that, like you were mentioning earlier?
Yeah. There's been so many levels of it. Um learn like that success, like once I learned what I was actually doing and to get repeated success, um that's really awesome because it builds your confidence. It builds your confidence. We always talk about like how this is a skill for life. right? And so it's like the whole idea of like when you really start to like accept everything, and it's like, okay, wait a minute, this is a skill for life, right? I mean, me personally, also, like, I'm a lifetime member, so I also know I'm always going to have access to the Discord. But it's like this is a skill for life. We don't need to trade every day because I've got every single day for the rest of my life, right?
Exactly.
um then, like, also, it's like that whole idea of like, if we take chunk plays, it's like, even if you only trade like 20%, you take one trade a week and it's a 20% trade, right? You stack that up over 52 weeks. I mean, whew, you're gonna be in a great spot by the end of the year.
Right.
All right. But then again, because again, I know myself. I am a little bit of a gambler and I can get overconfident. And this also transpires to like where I go in all aspects of my life. But it was like, we've had many times in the Discord where it's like, all right, now that I know what I'm actually doing, right? And I know that I can consistently build up my account. I definitely, if you want an accurate quarterback who's not throwing interceptions, that's not me. I'm a gunslinger. So I mean, we've had so many cases where it's like, I know, I know what the right thing to do is. I know what the right thing to do is, and I've built my account up doing the right thing. But also, I would say, like, out of all the traders, at least in the Discord, I mean, how many times have you seen me? Hey guys, I know that Tesla does not listen to fundamentals at all. I know that they're gonna fail earnings this week, but Elon is gonna come out and say like something on Twitter, and then it's gonna rip anyways. But I don't care. I'm still full porting like this much money on puts. And then sure enough, it doesn't go that way, even though I knew it was gonna happen. But sometimes I just like to chuck the rock up there and see what happens. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's really it's something that I need to continue to work on, because it's like something like that, it's like, it's almost, it's coming from a place of privilege, and it's coming from a place of like duality, where you understand what the right thing to do is. You have all these great teachings about like we don't need to trade every day, like having a good mindset, and then also, especially, like, not to like toot my own horn, but as somebody who should be like a mentor to like some of the newer players that we have in the Discord, right? It's like it can be a little bit misleading to them, right? Where it's like, we have a team mentality, and then because I feel like I've got it down, I can now stray off and do my own thing. That's definitely something where like I have been like thinking about that. Yeah, I need to work on that for myself, right? Where it's that whole idea of like, once you get the success, the formula for success, stick to the formula for success, right?
Yeah.
Don't go, I got the formula for success right here, right? It's right here. So I'm gonna keep it in my back pocket and I'm gonna go try and find another formula. It's like, no, you got the formula right here, man. Just use that. And so that's where it's like people that have been continuing to teach me is people like you, people like Cece, because it's like, I sit here and I get like full of myself and go like, oh, I got the formula to success, right? So that's why I can like put it in my back pocket and make these dumb plays,
Yeah.
right? But then I got people like Cece, who they're like just doing the 20% rule, and they're porting in with like more money than I've ever seen in my life. And it's like, because that's the formula to success, man. It's building it up slowly and slowly, only guaranteed plays, to the point where you're putting in six figures on a trade, and then even then, if you only get 5%, you just made 5K. Whereas I'm
Exactly.
like, I'm throwing in like 1,000 or whatever on like a stupid play, and then I lose it, but I was like, oh, but if it had hit, I was gonna have like a 4x on that. That's like nothing to like Cece. She's sitting
Yeah.
there, she's just pouring in all the time, and she's like, yeah, this trade didn't go quite how I wanted. Like, girl, you just made five figures. Like,
Yeah.
so it's really like, that's for me, like moving forward. I think that's what I gotta work on, and it's, yeah, but I'm again, I'm very privileged to be in a situation where it's like, hey, I'm not I'm not in like a survival mode anymore. Like if I
Yeah.
when I first started, like when I first found the Discord, man, I'm not sitting there thinking to myself like, my life savings at that point was 24K. I'm not 24K in the hole thinking, all right, guys, chunk plays. Nah, you're thinking Tom Brady. I'm down third quarter in the Super Bowl, and I need to start scoring, man.
Yeah,
I don't, we're gonna go out swinging.
for
So
sure. But
yeah,
it's great that you have that self awareness, because self awareness is the first step to getting better at anything in life. And then I see what you're saying. Like, oh, okay, I'm good. I'm good now. I have like that success formula, but I'm still trying to be the old version of me and do this at the same time. It's kind of having your foot like halfway in the door. Like you're complaining like, hey, it's cold outside, and then like you open the door and it's like, oh, it's kind of warm in here, but it's cold outside. But it's kind of warm in here. Bro,
yeah,
hey, close the door. So
yeah,
I feel you. I've definitely dealt with that. And you saw that on the $500 account challenge. I'm like, all right, this play looks good. It's guaranteed. Boom. And then I'm like, I want to do the zero DTE real quick.
yeah,
Account goes down
exactly.
halfway, right? It goes down halfway, and I'm like, oh, why'd I do that? Let me do the success formula again. And I go all the way back up.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely fun. But it's definitely all about becoming that new version of yourself and surrendering that old version. You have to let go of it to get to the next step. But yeah, that pretty much concludes the interview here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, DarfWorm, aka Alex. Thanks for joining us today. Is there any like parting words you or final things you want to give, like any piece of advice, or like what's next in your journey?
Yeah, actually, so in this whole process of like trying to like further my career, and then also like obviously taking that big step into the world of real estate, right? Um, what I've been working on is embodying that whole idea of like not letting this become a hobby, so to speak. Like really, I've been trying to work on it the last month. I've been trying to adopt the mentality in an effort to surrender that old self of mine, where it's like I'm having fun doing it, right? Like I have fun trading now at this point, which is super awesome. And trading when you're having fun is so much better than when you're not.
Yeah.
But it's that whole idea of like I'm trying to adopt the mentality of like this is like you need to treat this like a job, right? Let's have some serious here. Let's be professional, because I do have a lot of plays that I'll make. Like whenever I short Tesla or I talk about shorting Tesla, like that's probably when I'm having the most fun.
Yeah.
But it's that really adopting that mentality that like this is a tool. Money is a tool, right? And you are using it to further yourself into other aspects of life. So it's like even what I've been working on is more balanced in my life, where it's like, all right, this money that you're making is supposed to be enabling you to do things that you would actually like to do in life. Going out, traveling, right? Spending time with your loved ones, accomplishing goals like getting a house, maybe getting a new car. Like that's what I think the most important thing is because when you get that success formula, like success is addicting, and then you can really get to the point where it's like all you're thinking about is like what's my next trade, like what's my account at right now. I know like there was a point earlier this year right after that awesome APP play that we had, where like literally all I was thinking was like, all right, this was a huge hit, right? And it's I've been on a hot streak for like the entire year at this point. So if I can just continue this, like, and all I was thinking about was like numbers growing and like trades that I could take and like all of that, and that's great, right? That's great. But you've got to limit yourself. You don't want the only thing that you're thinking about to be like trading money. Like that's a toxic mentality in my personal opinion. It's like you got to think about like the balance of it all, where it's like you can take a good trade, but and like this is where like you've been a great example. It's like, hey, if there's nothing to trade, hey guys, I'm turning the lineup live off. I'm gonna go on a run, or like I'm gonna go to the gym, or I'm gonna go do something else, right? And there's been many times where it's like, even after that, like beforehand, like you or K5 would be like, hey, I don't see anything here today. I'm gonna go do something else with my life. That's a healthy like mentality. I would sit there and go like, oh, but what if something does happen? We don't have to trade every day, right? When the market gives it to us, it usually gives it to us easy, right?
Yeah.
So just remembering that life is to be lived. balance in all things. That's what I've been working on. And to anybody who joins Discord or starts trading, that's what you're going to see a lot of people doing some awesome things.
Mhm.
Remember that these awesome things that we do are so that we can do even more awesome things in the real world.
Dang, I love that. I love that. Hey, way to end it. Way to end it. Staying fit physically, spiritually, mentally, financially. Let's get it. Thank you, Alex, for joining today. And man, let's keep winning.
Yes, sir.